curse for covenant disobedience. The Israelites were warned, if you forget the Lord your God, you will become a byword among the nations. You will be scattered. Your sons and daughters will be given to another people, and you will long for them all day, but your hands will not be able to do anything. 28:32-37. Now pause. If you are descended from the transatlantic slave trade, does any of this sound familiar? Because here's the shocking truth. Most enslaved Africans weren't just taken at random. The vast majority were taken from West African regions, home to tribes like the Igbo, Yoruba, Ashanti, and Iwe. And as we saw in Part 5, many of these tribes held Hebraic traditions long before European missionaries ever arrived. They were circumcising their sons. They were observing the Sabbath. They were praying to a singular Most High. And then they were captured. By force, by war, by trade. Their names were erased. Their languages forbidden. Their rituals mocked. But Deuteronomy didn't just predict the loss. It also said why it would happen. Because you would not hearken unto the voice of the Lord your God. These curses shall come upon you and overtake you. The curses weren't random. They were contractual, bound to covenant. A holy agreement had been broken. And the penalty: exile, slavery, silence. But what Pharaoh intended for bondage, God always intends for awakening. Because in recent decades, something is stirring. Across America, the Caribbean, Brazil, and even parts of Europe, Black men and women are starting to ask dangerous questions. Why were we the only people whose entire identity was erased? Why are we drawn to the Old Testament even when no one taught us to be? Why do we feel a strange familiarity with words like Yahweh, Sabbath, Zion? And most importantly, could we be Israel? This isn't just a trend. It's not a movement. It's not rebellion. It's remembrance. People are opening the Bible again, not to escape history, but to reclaim it. They're reading Deuteronomy and realizing it's not just a book of old warnings. It's a mirror, a map, a spiritual DNA test. Let's go deeper. In 1967, author and theologian Rudolph Windsor wrote, "From Babylon to Timbuktu, tracing the history of Black Jews from the time of Christ through the African continent." He argued, based on documentation and archaeology, that many Hebrew tribes fled Roman persecution in 70 AD and migrated southwest into Africa, settling in regions that would later become major slave trade zones. This was not conspiracy, it was recorded migration. And where did European traders go to find slaves? Exactly where the Israelites had fled. So let's return to the text. "The Lord shall bring you into Egypt again with ships." In the Bible, Egypt is more than geography. It is often used as a symbol for slavery, oppression, spiritual exile. God had already brought Israel out of Egypt once on foot. So to say they would return by ships was a statement of deep reversal. And when it happened in modern history, it came not with chariots but with wooden hulls, salt water,